Welcome to the stable. You're here early, but that's all right. In a few hours, it's going to be a little crowded in here. Did you have any trouble finding the place? That street out there, it's a little narrow, and there's a lot of people in town thanks to the census. And seeing how there's not that many places for visitors to stay, the streets around this inn, well, they've been especially full of people recently. Well, just through that door over there, you'll find the innkeeper's family hurrying about, trying to get everything ready for the night's guests. But it's quiet in here. The cow and the chickens, they're getting their exercise in the courtyard. And the visitors from Nazareth haven't arrived yet with their donkey. There's a nice high window that opens to the courtyard, and one just over there that opens to a side street. You know, you got to have some ventilation. But later, if you happen to be looking through that one, you might see an unusually bright light in the sky, over a field just outside of town. Well, and over there in the corner are sacks of chicken feed. And not long from now, a scared husband will rearrange that chicken feed and those sacks to provide a somewhat comfortable place for his very pregnant wife to sit. She'll end up doing a lot more than sitting, though, to the surprise of everyone, not least the innkeeper. She'll give birth to a baby boy right here in this room. Beside the bags of feed are bales of hay for the larger animals. And by the time that young couple arrives a few hours from now, weary from traveling, the innkeeper's oldest son will have broken up one of those hay bales and put some right here in this thing against the wall. We'll take a good look at it, folks. This is the piece that people will talk about and write songs about, the manger. Just a few rough boards nailed together. It didn't take a great carpenter to build it. In fact, the innkeeper himself threw it together with some rough iron nails and some scraps of wood that were left over from a room addition that they had a few years ago. But in a few hours, a tired young mother will wrap the most important newborn in the human history in a cloth and lay him down there so she can get some rest too. Doesn't look like much, does it? Doesn't look like it's ready for such an important task. And heaven knows the city out there isn't prepared. It's in political upheaval. And the religion of the Jews is being used as a weapon by the Jewish leaders and the Roman authorities. The world is not ready. This room is not prepared to be a maternity ward. Mary and Joseph know that something special is about to happen, but even they can't really be ready for what is about to come. But nevertheless, in a few hours, God will be born as a baby right here. Not too long from now, Joseph and Mary will knock at the door out front and ask for a room. The innkeeper will explain that the guest areas are full. Joseph's shoulders will droop, and he'll slump and he'll turn to leave, but there is his exhausted young wife, as pregnant as a woman can be. The innkeeper will see those drooped shoulders, the worried look on their faces, and then he'll watch as Joseph turns back around and ask him, "Isn't there any place at all we can rest?" And then I imagine the innkeeper saying one of the most important words in history. He says, "Yes." Now, this innkeeper has a reputation for turning them away, but the opposite is true tonight. Though he was fully booked and the one empty spot wasn't at all prepared, he opened the door. That's all it took. He wasn't expecting them. He wasn't ready. The stable wasn't prepared for people, but he let them in. And the rest, as they say, is history. We're not so different from the innkeeper, you and I. It's Christmas, and we're busy and stressed, but that's not only true at Christmas, is it? Year-round, it seems like our lives are full, crowded, hectic, right? But listen closely. One of the many bits of good news of Jesus' coming into our world is that he didn't wait for it to be ready. All he asked for was a yes. When the angel appeared to Mary and told her that she would have a baby, Even though she didn't feel like the least bit prepared, she said yes. When the angel showed up at Joseph's house and told him to go ahead and wed Mary, he said yes. Through our eyes, those were unconventional choices, right? But God saw something more. Do you think maybe God saw something more in the innkeeper too? Because when the innkeeper had the opportunity to say no, he said yes. Jesus just needs you to be ready for him and open the door and say yes. I don't know what the unprepared stable looks like in your life, but I know this. Jesus is ready to bring a miracle out of that empty place. The world was changed because the innkeeper said yes, and he opened the door. So, what do you think? Can it happen in the world that you and I live in and you and I share? Can it happen in your life? Could it happen in mine? Yes, I think so. Absolutely yes.